putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. There's been a backlash against ESPN for Jemele Hill's suspension, and I'm reading it says it began almost immediately among left-wing activists and celebrities, many of whom use the hashtag Boycott ESPN on social media. Dear ESPN, suspending Jemele Hill doesn't make you seem biased, bigoted, or racist at all. Actor Greg Poops wrote, "Boo, not watching till she's back." And so let me just explain what's going on here, folks. This is the left trying to pretend that they matter. See, ESPN's already in the tank. I talked about this the other day. They put her and some other dude on a show to save it. At best, it's been flat. And one thing of it went up. They said it ticked up a point. For all intents and purposes, that's losing. She's been doing that show now for the better part of a year and can't raise anything on it. And now that she's created this controversy, she's in big trouble. So the numbers are going to go down. And people want ESPN to believe, the left want ESPN to believe that they're the reason. It's the same reason when the people were like, we're boycotting, the left was like, we're boycotting the NFL because they're not taking a stance against Donald Trump and all this. We're going to boycott them. We're not going to watch your shows. You watch your games. Guess what, guys? Too late. We'd already started not watching their games. So this is piggybacking. This is what the Democrats pushing off slavery onto the Republicans, except a little different. They're trying to piggyback onto the good things that's happening on our side by taking credit and saying, we're the reason you don't have any people watching your sports anymore. Yeah, good luck with that. I think this is hysterical. And again, I come back to, we're lucky this is happening now in the time of Trump. There's going to be a lot of things going on that you get to take credit for. So Al Sharpton is picketing ESPN. Believe it or not, he's got some thing that he's doing outside of ESPN, and he's going to get Jemele Hill. Let me put it to you this way. Jemele Hill is not coming back until her 2 weeks is up. The NFL is not going to allow thuglites to take a knee. End of story. And it doesn't matter what happens between now and then, Jemele Hill's not coming back, and NFL athletes will obey whatever the league comes up with, and they'll obey it to the letter of the law, or they'll be gone. People have asked me, what do I think? I've been asked this multiple times on TV, different shows. What I think is exactly what I just said. They are going to give in. They have to. ESPN is sick of this. And guess what? ESPN will soon, I'll make another prediction. They will put out a memo that says, we will talk sports. We will not talk about issues surrounding political things. If we do, we're going to take a neutral stance. We're going to just report it as news happening in the NFL. We're not going to be biased one way or the other. That's what they're supposed to do. If you want to talk about concussions, for example, I love talking about it. I understand both sides of the issue. You got guys running into each other at 20 miles an hour, the net being a 40-mile-an-hour hit to both people. And as much as they have the protection and all that, you hit at the right angle, man, concussion. You hit at the wrong angle, a little slightly off from the right angle, and you've got broken neck, broken back, paralysis, whatever. Lifelong injuries. The average football player I forget what the number is, but it's like in the mid-50s. So you're not talking about, these are guys that go, my life expectancy is going to go way down. They seem to be okay with it. Most of them probably don't even believe it to be true. I don't know. I haven't run the studies, but I know this. You give a lot of people the choice to play that sport. You tell them, look, you might not reach 60, but you'll be playing a sport you love, blah, blah, blah. There'll be people lined up, man, all day long and twice on Sunday. They will line up to play this game. I wouldn't. I think too much of my life. But there you go. But I was a fighter. So there are people that would go, Kevin, I would never get in the ring and let people throw hands and feet at me. Elbows and knees. Are you crazy? It didn't seem crazy to me. It seemed like that's the way you test yourself. So you're training, you're going to the gym, you're going to your workouts, doing your dojo, you're sparring in little, pity pat tournaments, you're, working out with people, doing forms, self-defense, one steps, you name it. And then suddenly you get the chance to put it into some sort of use without hurting people, and people want to write you a check for it. Sign me up. If you said do it today, no interest. But I get it. So I understand both sides of the issue. Somebody going, Kevin, shoot, man, you get concussions, man, you're foggy in your mind and yada yada. I'd go, yeah, I get it, man. So why'd you play? You had to know there were risks. I did. Practically every one of my NFL friends, I knew the risk. Okay. Would you do it again? Almost every one of them. Yes. I was talking to Craig James, been about a year ago. Part of the Pony Express, played for the New England Patriots, went to the Super Bowl. I asked Craig, I said, man, what's all this concussion stuff? And we were talking about Jay Novacek. And because Jay's wife is big into the concussion thing and all that. And they were telling me, Kevin, have you seen Will Smith's new movie? I said, guys, I don't watch Will Smith movies. But anyway, long story short, they were talking about it. They are very, I don't know how many concussions Jay had. I know Troy Aikman had a few, but Jay's like, yeah, man, dangerous sport. Would you do it again? And I think Jay told me, yeah. I go, okay, man, that's all I'm asking. So both sides of the issue. And I'm not trying to go back to the throwback stuff, but there were times when, man, the helmets didn't have a face mask. They were made of leather. And people weren't as fast. Maybe they weren't as big, but they didn't have face masks. They had a leather helmet on. They were running into each other. Maybe 4 or 5 miles per hour slower than today, but still like rams, man. What do people say? Guys taking steroids. They're doing everything to prolong careers. They know. Do you think the people taking steroids, man, let me tell you, the jury's still out here. You could lose 10 years on your life. Shoot it, doc. I don't know what the elixir is. I think I do. But, I didn't fall for it. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would. But there's at least 2 sides to be argued on it, but not with the left. For them, Jemele Hill's suspension, after the company told her, don't tweet on these issues, she did it. And she did it to the detriment of the company. You think they care? No. She's black and she got laid off. That's all they need to know. She got suspended, rather, for 2 weeks. But she's black. I remember a lady on the Golf Channel, forget her name, she made a reference that wasn't even that big of a deal, but it was racially sort of insensitive. It's 2 week suspension. Nobody cared. It was like, whatever. NAACP is attacking Jerry Jones. Yeah. We've reached the point in America where an ethnocentric black racist organization attacks a rich white business owner who hires blacks and makes them into multimillionaires. Household words. Household names, I meant to say. The NAACP showcases that group's lunacy on the regular. Renders itself irrelevant on the regular. Protests a business owner setting rules for their employees. The same thing that Sharpton's doing. You want to know why these two groups are doing it? My book, Race Pimping, will tell you. RacePimping.com. Is it because they're right? No. Are they factually, are they right on principle? No. They don't have to be. You got a white guy who's rich. You got somebody black who's been theoretically oppressed. I don't know what Jamel Green earns for a living, but it's probably fairly substantial. But she's oppressed. They set rules and guidelines at the company. Do you think that Sharpton's company has rules and guidelines? The Jesse Jackson Rainbow Push, these rules and guidelines? Do you think any company owned by blacks has rules and guidelines? Yeah, but is it okay to violate them? No, because those companies are owned by black people. You can't violate their rules. This is how crazy we are, folks. Sportcaster said Jerry Brown is a slave owner. I'm just going to touch on it because I'd like to touch on this a little bit more. A slave owner. A dude who overwhelmingly hires black people, forces them, not indentured servants, not slaves, hires them for a really amazing amount of money. I'll tell you this, I'd work for the average salary of the blacks in the NFL divided by 10. That's what I'd go do the NFL for. What would you take? That's going to do it for me today, folks. We'll talk to you again next time.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.